Therapy. Financial therapy on Investors Education Series.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, just to let our viewers, our listeners know that we're not abandoning sustainable and affordable housing, but we think let's just take some time and look at financial therapy because it is a new field that is just coming up, and we really just want to see what they do, the overview of what it is, and how can our listeners, and of course those of you who watch us from our various social media platform, how can you benefit from financial therapy? It is going to be straightforward discussion. We'll be looking at what is financial therapy, what does what does a financial therapist do, personal finance strategy that can help, ways to overcome financial anxiety, the ongoing demand for financial therapies. Those are some of the things we will be looking at. So, people have heard of financial planners, experts in financial planning. But who are these financial therapists? These are some of the things we're going to be seeing. So many people worry about money, but when faced with a serious financial setback, worry can become a crippling anxiety. It doesn't take a pandemic to send people's finances into a tailspin. But the economic turmoil that a pandemic can cause heightens the immediate need for financial therapists who are trained in helping people overcome money related fears and re-establish control over their finances. You see, this profession has been on, but they were not that rampant and people did not know much about it. But it came to the limelight during the COVID 19. A lot of people had financial issues and it was more of psychological. And that is why they now begin to see. Because if you want to meet financial planners, those ones are not trained in therapy. So they will only be telling you how to save money, how to invest. They're not looking at your psychology. So, and that is why there was a need for people to begin to understand what financial therapy is. It's simply people who are finance experts and have gone to take training in counseling. Then the other way around, people who are counselors and have gone to take training in finance. So they combine it and they are now called financial therapists. So a survey conducted by a research center 1 year into the COVID-19 pandemic found many people feeling its effects. On those survey, 51% of non-retired adults believe that economic impact of the shutdown will make it more difficult for them to achieve their financial goal, which was true. This was in the US, but you can also apply it in Nigeria. As of February 2021, 44% of US households reported experiencing either a job loss or a layoff, a pay cut, or both. We saw that in Nigeria too.
Yes.
Yeah. In households that has experienced the loss of a job or reduced wages due to COVID, 62% stated that their long-term financial goals will be more difficult to achieve as a result. Of the people who stated that the pandemic posed a major threat to their finances, 34% were categorized as being in high psychological distress. Excuse me. And that was true. We saw a lot of that during the early stage of the pandemic. The need for counselors trained in financial planning and mental health treatment will persist long after COVID-19 is just a bad memory. By helping people exploit their emotional and psychological relationship with their finances, financial therapists guide them to both financial security and mental well-being. So you can see why this topic is very important. We're not just talking about your financial security, but we're talking about what? Your mental well-being. So you can see that this topic can also flow in our health and wellness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can go into our health and wellness, but today we are looking at it under investors education. Now, I hope I'm permitted to take a drink while I'm online. It's Broshy Radio I'm advertising now. Very good. So what is financial therapy? That is the question I'll continue to ask. Financial therapy is counsel that combines financial advice and emotional support to help people manage financial stress. Worry about money and financial matters can have a crippling effect on people, negatively impacting their family life, work, and other aspects of their lives. Do we agree with that?
Of course.
So once a worker has some money issues, it affects their emotional well-being, and of course going to affect not only them, their family life, their work. They won't give their best. So the field of financial therapy across arose in the aftermath of the Great Depression of 2007 and 2008. Of course, those of us in the stock market, we experienced what they call a meltdown. It happened in the US, but now flowed into other parts of the world. And Nigeria, we also experienced our own meltdown. Although its roots go back to the 1990s, where researchers began to look more closely at the psychological and emotional aspects of money. So in 2019, the Financial Therapy Association, came on board and implemented their CFT, that is a Certified Financial Therapist, program for both mental health practitioners and financial planners. So a financial planner and a therapist whose research on people's emotional and psychological relationship with money found that 90% of financial decisions are made emotionally. Do we agree with that?
No,
Yes.
no cases though.
Well, that's a 90% of financial decisions are made emotionally. But people will think they are rational. They are not. It's emotion. However, financial planners aren't trained in behavioral therapy. And the therapists don't have a background in financial planning. So the goal of financial therapy is to instill in people a positive attitude about their finances, which is the first step in setting and achieving financial goals. So you can see when financial planners have tried and tried and tried, because they are not looking at the emotional aspect of their clients. Your emotions controls most of what you do. And it is very wrong for anybody to tell you, forget about your emotions. It's not possible. And that is why we also teach emotional intelligence. Because the emotion is there, but you have to be intelligent about it. Like many other aspects of life, when someone changes their perspective about money from negative to positive, they are more likely to think and behave in a way that allows them to build real wealth. Do we agree with that? When you change your mindset about money, you begin to see money in a positive light. You don't criticize those who have so much money. You don't envy them. You want to see how they behave, how you can also behave like them and attract that money that you want to get. So a professor at a university somewhere in the US, emphasized the importance of individual having faith, that is confidence and faith in themselves, to make the right financial decisions no matter what life throws at them. Okay, let's look at this. Who is likely to suffer pandemic-related financial anxiety? Let's see. Financial anxiety resulting from an event such as the COVID-19 pandemic can have the greatest impact on consumers with these demographic characteristics. Married people. Yes. homeowners, those aged 45 to 54, those who have completed their university education, net worth greater than, if you're using US dollar, over 500,000, then household income between, if you're using US dollar, $100,000 and $150 annually, where we need to convert that to Nigerian Naira. So according to the online research firm financial anxiety resulting from an event such as the COVID-19 pandemic can have the greatest impact on consumers who are married, homeowners, those who have age 45 to 54, those who have completed college, and those who have a network that we have listed before. So reasons why someone need a financial therapist. Why do you need a therapist generally? Because you have a problem and you have to face that problem. The therapist is not a magician, but he is being trained to understand some of the issues, and of course with your cooperation you'll be able to confront that problem. And just like your fear, there are certain things that you phobia. Of course, if you see a therapist, they'll be able to tell you what to do to overcome that kind of phobia. So a survey conducted by financial service firm Capital One found that as of 2019, finances were the number one source of stress, cited by 73% of survey respondents. People reported worried about their finances more than politics. That's about 59%. Work, 49%. And of course, family, 46%. In the Capital One survey, finance-related stress was especially common among those in Generation Z. Gen Z, 82%. And millennials, 81%. So that's why I was asking, who are these Generation Z? You said those that were born after the year 2000?
Yeah.
Okay, then the millennials are from 80s to...
Yeah.
Okay. So it is the Gen Z that are still the future. So we should all continue to rely on them. That's good. Finance-related stress only escalates during the pandemic. So in September 2020, the level of financial-related stress peaked in the early months of the pandemic. We experienced that in Nigeria here. In fact, most people felt the world was coming to an end. Although they remained extremely high later in the year. Survey conducted in April 2020 determined that 88% of respondents felt financially stressed, which dropped to 84% in the similar survey conducted in September 2020. You know, that September 2020, they've been able to open some places. People are able to move around. People could see earn some little money. But that April, May, a lot of anxiety. So the number of people who reported being extremely or very concerned about their finances similarly declined from 43% to 24% between the two surveys. Top financial stressors included not having enough money in savings, job security, not having sufficient retirement savings, fluctuations in income, and not being able to make housing another monthly payment. We all know that in Nigeria, some offices virtually shut down. They could not
just
pay.
Offices, so even restaurants. In fact, the hospitality business was the most affected.
And since they can't pay salary, they can't pay people's pension. And so those worries were genuine. If people believe that they will not have enough for their retirement because they are not being paid currently. So for many people, getting their finances in order entails working with a financial planner or advisor who is trained in helping them set realistic financial goals and implement financial goals and implement plans to achieve them. However, people who experience stress and anxiety related to their finances may also need assistance to change their thinking and behavior about money, which few financial planners are trained to do. So 3 scenarios in particular calls for the extra guidance that a financial therapist offer. So we've come to realize that financial planners, they did a good job, they tried, but they were still some fundamental issues. You will sit down with the clients, financial planners, they will talk, set plans, but they still discover that at the end of the day, there were still issues. So what was the missing link? That is where therapists now came in. When a person's relationship with money is such that they see money as a source of power, an identity, rather than as a tool to help them achieve their goal. Money is there. You see that it's that's money is a disorder. They see money as their power and their identity. That's one scenario. When attitude about money prevents taking action to improve their financial situation. When money issues cause a serious rift in marriage or other personal relationship. These are among the negative behaviors and thought pattern that financial therapy helps people to overcome. And that was why we are looking at this today for our investors and those who are listening to us at the same time watching us from our various social media platforms. We all need financial therapists to work with. So addressing behavioral issues that place financial and emotional well-being in jeopardy, such as gambling or compulsive shopping. Helping people who overwork or hoard money while avoiding pressing financial matters in their lives. Somebody will have so much money, they are afraid to spend it. It's a disorder. Assisting people in developing healthy financial habits and addressing underlying mental or physical health problems that may contribute to poor financial management. So we now see the need for people to engage with a financial therapist who will not be able to take care of their behavior, their thinking, their mindset towards money, and at the same time be able to come out with plans, goals and plans to achieve their financial goals. So what does a financial therapist do? The goal of financial therapy is to help people repair financial problem and establish a sense of financial security. Financial therapists apply evidence-based practices and interventions to improve how people think, feel, and act about money. It is not as simple as we are discussing it. To change or improve how people think, feel, and act about money or their finances is very crucial. The way and manner in which you think, feel, and act about money goes a long way in you solving your financial issues. If you think about money, those who have money that are criminals, you want to attract money now. And or like that example we normally give on this series, somebody who was struggling the day he made 1 million naira, he collected the cash, went to a room, displayed the cash there and brought a cane. He was flogging in this money. He needs a financial therapist,
yeah, of course,
to help him change his mindset as to how he can begin to think more positively, feel and act about his finances. So much of the misunderstanding people have about money stems from the belief that money matters are rational and transactional. Work in exchange for a paycheck or other remuneration, and money in exchange for goods and services. That is just transactional. I come to work, I work, that's it, they pay me, I go. There is more to it. And that is what some employers have not come to realize. There is more to somebody working with you, and at the end of the day, you just pay. There is more to it. So financial therapists instruct their clients in the emotional and psychological aspect of money management, and help them identify sources of problematic behaviors related to finance, such as compulsive spending, hoarding, overworking, gambling, and withholding financial information from a partner. We have called this financial infidelity. In many instances, resolving the negative emotions and responses people have towards money requires the assistance of a professional trained in both mental health counseling and financial planning. So financial therapists combine counseling and financial planning, and that is why we are recommending here that you see a financial therapist. One reason why many people struggle to overcome unhealthy financial practices is that financial planners generally are not able to diagnose or treat the emotional and psychological underpinnings of bad money management. And mental health counselors tend to avoid delving too deeply into their client's financial situations. By combining the two disciplines, financial therapists can address the causes of a person's money woes while also helping them devise and implement a sound financial plan. Let's look at this for some time. Most of the money experts you see today, I'm an economist, I'm a banker, I'm a stockbroker, I'm an accountant. They are basically just looking at the financial planning. They are not able to diagnose and treat emotional and psychological underpinnings of bad money management. And even the market is reflecting it. Yes, price of shares are going up. That's why you see people are buying. If price is correct, that's why you see people are selling. And they think they are rational. They are not rational. They have been driven by emotions. But financial experts today will not come to agree. But we are happy that there is an aspect of economics they call behavioral economics. They are beginning to study and see that most of the things we think investors are rational. If you deep research very well, you see that most of the decisions are out of there are psychological and emotional issues behind some of these money or financial decisions. So let's see. Financial therapists typically build on their primary background in one of two areas. They are trained mental health counselors who pick up financial competency skills. They are trained financial planners who learn counseling skills. I make bold to say I fall into the second category. As a trained financial planners, then we decide to learn counseling skills. So when we are talking about your financial issues, we're also looking at the emotions and psychology behind those issues. So in both instances, the goal is to help people communicate with their partners and others about the state of their finances and to replace negative emotions about money with positive ones. The technique applied by financial therapists are designed to help their client evaluate their spending and savings habits, to identify and identify, evaluate their spending and savings habit to identify unhealthy and problematic attitude. Okay, so let's see how we can begin to take it home, what the listeners want to take home. Often, a person's poor money habit have their origin in childhood. For example, someone repeats their parents' tendency to release stress or anxiety by shopping, which can result in compulsive spending. Conversely, someone who develops a compulsive for making and saving money to the point of neglecting relationships or damaging their quality of life could have experienced financial hardship or deprivation as a child that negatively affects their financial practices as an adult. So we have to go back to our childhood, because most of the behavior when it comes to our finances that we display, we exhibit, are from our childhood. So we have to go back to begin to interrogate that behavior. So we will stop here for today, and when we meet next time on this series, we'll be looking at focusing on the psychological and emotional aspects of money. Money, like we have said, has so many dimensions.
And it has a spirit.
Money, I've said money is a spirit, money is psychological, money even has a philosophy. But here on Investors Education at Broad Street Radio, this is the only radio station where you get this kind of discussions, focusing on the psychological and emotional aspects of money. Gina, do you have any question or anything to say?
No question at all. Remember to catch us tomorrow and make it a date on Investor Education series where we'll be discussing that very, very interesting topic. Do stay with us. We'll be back after the short break.
Thank you.